Now, joining us now to discuss the developments in the Middle East is Colonel Miri, a senior fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
So we are heading into a holiday weekend with the Shabbat, then Passover beginning very soon, but there will likely be big developments coming out this weekend as the U.S. will hold direct talks with Iran on Saturday in an attempt to start negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program, which is rapidly advancing. The talks will be in Oman. Now, tell us, what do you think is likely going to take place during these talks? How likely is a deal going to happen? And what will the U.S. need in order to secure a deal?
It's not going to happen this Shabbat, this Chag. We're not going to come out of it after our long weekend and discover that everything has been resolved. Because in that sense, not a lot has changed for Iran, and the administration has changed in the United States, but Iran wants to try to play it on both ends. They want to keep their nuclear capability, and together with that, they're going to try and, in that sense, flip it over, I think is the way I would say. They're going to bring up the fact that allegedly Israel has nuclear capability. They're going to bring up the fact that they were not the ones who left the agreement the last time. They already signed an agreement. So I don't expect big things to happen over the weekend. I think that the fact that there's going to be meetings at all, that's the big event over the weekend. It's going to really be the first time that you're going to have openly, overtly, clear-cut talks between top U.S. and top Iranian officials. That's not something we saw in any of the previous times of negotiations over Iran trying to achieve nuclear capability.
And President Trump is calling this direct talks with Iran, but Iran's foreign minister said he will be speaking indirectly through a mediator to U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Now, Witkoff was instrumental in securing a hostage deal in the first phase of the recent ceasefire deal. How likely is he going to secure another deal again? Like you said, it might not be this weekend, but potentially in the future if it were to happen.
I think that the President of the United States likes to secure deals. I think that that is the one thing which is, we can all say that very clearly. I also think that the President of the United States wants to secure a different deal. He's not going to do the deal that was done under the Obama administration, the one he left when he became president in his first term. So as I look at it right now, I expect it to be the opening of talks. It's kind of going to be putting on display what the differences are between the sides. Witkoff himself has said, and there are other people inside the administration, that they would talk directly. So at this stage, I'm kind of wondering, does he mean that it's because it's through translation? Does it mean they're going to be in separate rooms? Who's going to be the mediator then? The Omanis? I doubt it. So I do think that this is something new. I do expect to hear new ideas, but that doesn't mean we're arriving yet at a deal.
Right. And President Trump said on Wednesday Israel would take a leading role in a potential military strike on Iran if talks don't succeed. Do you think Netanyahu was blindsided by a comment like this?
I think that the United States has always looked at Israel as the one that would be leading in this attack. This is something that Israel has been looking at for, I think, over a decade. I've certainly been talking about it. And I say that it's something that you have to plan, you have to train, you have to think of what you can do. I absolutely hope and want to think, first of all, if you can arrive at a deal like the one that the Prime Minister spoke about, like the Libyan deal, which it's worthwhile to talk about how that was done. But if you cannot arrive at a deal, I have no question whatsoever that Israel would be involved both in the hardcore, meaning sending out planes, UAVs, capabilities, but also behind the scenes in the intelligence, in finding out and targeting, and having additional assets on the ground. Israel has already attacked in Iran. We did it openly in April of 2024 and October in 2024 after Iran attacked us. We know how to do that, and that's a very important aspect when you're going out against this nuclear, almost threshold nuclear power, when we're trying to stop and deny Iran those nuclear weapons that you're showing right now.
Of course, as this negotiation is kickstarting, I want to talk about what's happening inside of Gaza. We know that a ground offensive continues to expand there as Iran negotiates with the United States. Will this have any impact on the negotiations Israel is currently having with Hamas to release the rest of the 59 hostages still in captivity?
I don't think so. I don't think that the two are connected at all. Perhaps the connecting point is the name Witkoff in that sense inside the UN administration. But Israel has been using both Egypt and Qatar with all of the problems that each one of these different mediators has. Egypt shares a border with the Gaza Strip. Qatar has hosted the leadership of Hamas for so many years. So both of them have interest in this negotiation. It's not directly with the United States. I want to hope for all of us that those negotiations bear fruit. I want to hope for all of us that this is going to be a holiday of really liberation in that sense. And having said that, I really hope for, also when it comes to those negotiations, there are no silver bullets. There's not some kind of thing that can suddenly come out and release all 59, those alive and those dead, and end this war. It's hard, it's tough. We have to keep talking. We need to get those 59 home, and we need to be safe against both Hamas and the other jihadi forces in the arena. Very challenging balance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Colonel Miri Eisen.
Thank you.